some awesome footage that was actually taken out at Harris.
Yeah, that was last fall after the lure was kind of first was beginning to design it and work on it. Got really lucky on the footage, and the angle was perfect and the camera was perfect, and just happened to have a nice 4.5, 5 pounder come up and just annihilate it.
It almost looks like a tarpon the way it comes up.
Yeah, she was mean. Those Harris fish have that tendency sometimes.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to take a break right here. A brief message from one of our show sponsors, and we'll be right back. We're going to take some live questions from some of our audience.
That looks... Oh, nice!
No matter how big, no matter how fierce,
Blackfin tuna. There's just some teeth. Nice fish.
no matter how long the battle,
Woo!
the world's first circle hook is still the best for the pros. And for you.
All right, welcome back to Carolina Outdoors. We're going to take a couple questions from our live audience here on the internet. We got one from William from Concord. He wants to know, what are the colors that you offer, and is there any extra for a custom color?
Well, the colors are kind of like the name itself, unlimited. So any color that you want, William, that's what we'll paint for you. If you have a particular design that works great for you in the area around Concord, say at Wiley or somewhere, if you can give us a link, example, or a picture of it, we'll try to match it as best we can. So the colors really are unlimited. What was the second half of that?
You want to know if there was an extra cost to have a custom color?
No, not really. It's all the same cost, unless you have something like really unusual added, like the crackle finish is usually an extra couple bucks, things like that.
Basically, if somebody goes to your site, they're not going to have a color chart and like they can pick from, like, this is what I want. It's all just kind of...
Yeah, that kind of is good and bad sometimes. A lot of the retail folks want the color charts, and I've kind of been hesitant to add it just because unlimited means to me unlimited. And I know that when you're ordering items, you like to see examples, which is why we have the gallery page, and there's 4 or 5 pages worth of web pages of pictures, and so you can get some examples of what you want.
Okay, we have a question from Eric from Knoxville. If I place an order today, how long will it take before I actually get it? I'm sure you probably hear that a lot.
Yeah, I get that one a lot. We get a lot of the can you have it in 3 days questions. And if somebody placed an order today, realistically, without doing or shortchanging the lure, its cure time or its clear coat cure time, you're looking at 4 to 5 days of getting it in the mail. So, and that's on a custom lure, so which isn't bad. We got 1 day to paint it, 1 day to let it cure, another day to let it the clear coat cure, the paint cure, and get it in the mail in 2 to 3 days. So somewhere between 4 to 6 days you should have it. And a lot of that depends on the time of the season and volume also. So,
and it depends on, I mean, do you do a lot of like one color of a particular lure, or do you like to do like maybe 4 or 5 or into a set or something?
My preference obviously is around doing 3 to 5 is perfect, like for one color. But if somebody wants 5 of separate color to start with, I understand that. You want to try and see what's going to work in your area. So we'll work with you on that also. No minimums, basically.
Okay, we got a question from Todd from Richmond. How much input actually comes in from your pro staff for a new lure like the Icon by Mike Iconelli?
Good question. Good question. The best way I can explain it is that the original idea is kind of based on one of my original ideas that I've drawn on paper, and I'll take the Icon idea and maybe show it to Mike and say, hey Mike, what's your favorite lure for crankbaiting or something like that? He will tell me a Jim Bagley's from 1980 every single time usually, and we'll take that idea, we'll work off of that basic concept and model. But I always like to put my extra touch in it. I'm not big on copying anybody's work, so that's why you'll see a lot of the head details and the eyes and the inset gills and things like that and the mouth features. So we get a pretty good amount of input. And another example is with the water scorpion that Jeffrey helped design. He actually pushed me to make this bait. It was one that I really didn't have much interest in, and he told me 2 or 3 years ago that, hey, this lure's hot on the tournament trail. It's winning tournaments. You need to make one. So I finally listened to him, and a year and a half later we had one ready. So he
I
gets.
know, I know it really wasn't that quick. I mean, I know you did several baits, and we work with it, and you give it to me, and we take it out and try it a little bit to see if it had a wobble or a wake. But I mean, a lot of input went into that.
Yeah, your input was priceless on this one, because to be honest with you, I had not fished a wake bait ever that I'm aware of, just because there weren't any on the market. And I would give Jeffrey examples or samples of them, and he'll take them out and say, yeah, it does this, or yeah, it doesn't do that. So come back and tweak it, move the lip, make a bigger lip, change the weighting, and just change everything around till we finally got it right. So props to you on that one.
Seemed like the biggest thing we had was actually the bill, the angle of the bill.
Lip angle is critical.
But I know the next bait that I see you got here is something that you really hadn't even introduced much to the public yet, have you?
No, this one came out about a month or month and a half ago. I wanted another swim bait for the East Coast size. As you know, the larger 8, 9, 10-inch lures that are so popular out in the West Coast for catching large fish in California. I wanted something that was geared more towards the East Coast guy, and we came out with the swim brim. Same wooden body design as the Havoc, except there's a tail section that's also movable, and it also has a little kick to it. Whenever the tail's moving, it has a good vibration to it. The main action of this lure is used as a topwater wake bait. You throw it out and you keep it reeling steady, and the water kind of flows and it causes the surface to bulge up around the lure, and it causes a ton of commotion on the water though. And if you really, like if you come to a lay down and you want to crank it down, you can still crank it down like a crankbait. Still has that same action as a crankbait, but it was primarily developed as a topwater wake bait.
Yeah, I can see where that would be deadly in the fall, like when you're throwing it over these shallow stumps and just kind of waking it real slow.
Yeah,
you know how shad get real slow and lethargic during the fall?
It's good anytime the shad are up shallow, put it that way. It throws out a huge wake. A fish cannot miss seeing that bubble.
Again, another wooden bait. The detail on it is just awesome. And of course the paint job, I mean, it's just probably by far the best paint job in the business.
Yeah, good lure. A lot more of those patterns to come on site that you'll get a look at. And
I know a question you probably get a lot is like, when you're making a lure like that from, say, just thinking about doing the lure and then the maybe doing the diagram and then the work, how long does it take actually to get this lure to where it's ready to go out to be used fishing?
It really depends on the lure. Probably one of the longer ones that I've had most difficult with was the wake bait. It's just a hard to design lure to get it balanced perfectly so it'll work right every time. The icons and icon M2s I started drawing approximately in 2003, and we just got those online in 2008, late 2008. So it takes years and years and years on some of them. And some of them, like the Havoc, it might take 6 months to get it right because it's a small bait. It's easier to work with. So it just varies. It can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 or 3 years to get it right.
Well, they're all super ideas and super baits. I know they're going to catch a lot of fish. I look forward to using them. Well, Kelly, you got some great stuff here. I know you're going to have some good stuff coming out for years to come. Appreciate you being here.
Yep.
Stay tuned. Hopefully we're going to make this either a weekly or bi-weekly Carolina Outdoors Live. This is the first episode. But we're going to have a schedule up soon, and hopefully you'll be able to tune in maybe every Wednesday or Tuesday night if I'm not out on the road or something. But we've got some really good stuff. We're going to have some interviews, special guests, and hopefully we'll have some on-site location stuff too. But thanks for tuning in for Carolina Outdoors, and we'll see you on the road.